This is the most pretentious thing ever written and recorded in human history. When I was a little kid, I was terrified of Band-Aids. Patachonophobia. The fear of stickers and sticky objects. And I never outgrew my phobia. Now I dread hospitals. And a hospital is where you should feel safe. Physicians operating amid chaos, outrageous bills, agonizing pain, grief, healing, and death. The perfect setting for horror. Grace awakens, suspended upside down on a gurney. She's in a hospital, but it's uncanny. Modern medical equipment monitors her vitals. Her blood drips into an old-fashioned glass IV bottle. How did we get here? Grace Ashcroft, a timid FBI analyst sent to investigate a murder at the same hotel where her mother was killed. She is immediately kidnapped. Grace topples the IV pole next to her gurney, smashing the glass bottle on the floor. She cuts herself free. Her desperate fight for survival begins. Grace pushes open the door and steps into the halls of Rhodes Hill. Long, pitch-black corridors stretch ahead, punctuated by flashes of lightning through the windows. She's lost. Ornately carved cherubs decorate the doors. Imposing statues lurk in shadowed recesses. And antique furniture painted sterile white with chipped edges gives Rhodes Hill a sense of eerie history, as if the memories of past patients still haunt the halls like ghosts. Relieved of her weapon and flashlight, Grace stumbles blindly through the dark halls, defenseless. A classic Resident Evil scenario. A locked door blocks the only escape from this nightmare. And Grace isn't alone in the dark. The girl, her cranium bulging, limbs twisted and elongated by the T-virus, stalks Grace from the shadows. Grace is vulnerable. And this is the heart of what makes her gameplay compelling. Each unnatural abomination presents a significant threat. She is alone, outnumbered, and supplies are scarce. Each encounter presents a choice. Engage the threat directly or try to slip by unnoticed. Defeated monstrosities can suddenly spring back to life, even more crazed and deadly than before. Even in the few safe rooms, there is a palpable dread that danger is still lurking just outside the door. When you start Resident Evil 9, you are given the choice of perspective for each character. It's recommended you play Grace in first person. The tight perspective and inability to peek around corners makes the horror immediate. You never know what might lie just down the hall. And it isn't always just about what you see. The wet slap of a cleaver chopping through meat, a ghostly song reverberating off the walls, the infected staff speaking in wet rasps, a twisted reflection of who they were before the infection took hold. In Rhodes Hill itself, the juxtaposition of sterile hallways and the lavish extravagance of wooden leather gives the care center a sense of historical gravity. The cold misery of a sanatorium and the unnerving elegance of a haunted mansion. It all comes together to tell a story, one you experience firsthand from Grace's perspective. January 2005. The boys and I are crammed into a single room at the local Bible college, tossing back non-alcoholic beers and eating popsicles, lit only by the phosphorescent glow of a battered old CRT. Front and center, I clutch a GameCube controller. I'm playing the recently released masterpiece, Resident Evil 4. My dorm room door is propped open, an invitation to witness the spectacle. It doesn't take long to gather a crowd. I'm in the opening hours, barricaded in a dilapidated house. Crazed villagers wielding rusted farm tools assault my position from every side. The barricade gives way, and my attackers flood through the front door. Glass shatters upstairs as hostile locals climb a ladder through the window. I line up a headshot, staggering the nearest pitchfork-wielding maniac, then follow up with a spinning kick that sends everyone in the room flying. This is not the Resident Evil I grew up with. Resident Evil 4 marked a major evolution for the series, ditching pre-rendered backgrounds and clunky tank controls for a fully 3D world and over-the-shoulder perspective. Leon was faster, more agile, and armed to the teeth. This is the Leon we get in Resident Evil Requiem. Leon Kennedy rolls up to Rhodes Hill in a Porsche. Sporting a sick leather jacket, custom pistol in hand, tactical hatchet at the small of his back, Leon is here to fuck shit up. A dispatch goes out over the intercom. It's going down. An infected doctor with a chainsaw shambles on scene and performs some unscheduled surgery. It's on. This isn't Leon's first dance with death. Ducking and weaving as Dr. Leatherface swings the chainsaw in wide arcs. Sparks fly from every near miss. More abominations join the fray. Leon is a one-man army. A flurry of bullets and roundhouse kicks in an undead Royal Rumble. Stagger a zombie with a precisely placed headshot, then follow up with a hatchet to the cranium. Whip out the hand cannon Requiem and convert an infected patient's head into red mist. Snag the chainsaw and bifurcate an undead nurse at the waist. The hiss of arterial spray splattering the walls and floor. A macabre painting, a testament to the carnage. This is the Leon Kennedy experience, swapping the tense vulnerability of Grace's gameplay with adrenaline-fueled mayhem. While each twisted creature presents a significant threat to Grace, Leon can only be overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Now a grizzled veteran of the zombie apocalypse, Leon returns to Raccoon City, now a wasteland of twisted metal and shattered concrete. What follows is an assault of over-the-top ultraviolence and gore. Obliterate the undead with shotguns. Slice and dice them with your trusty axe. Vaporize them with mortar rounds and brightly colored propane tanks. You are the master of all things kinetic, a crescendo of destruction. This drastic departure from the subdued horror of Grace's gameplay gives Resident Evil Requiem variety. One moment you're fighting for survival in a human meat grinder as Grace, the next you're flying through the air on a motorcycle as Leon. The result? A game that combines the best elements of the Resident Evil franchise, old and new. I used to sing in a choir. I've been a part of many live performances. One in particular I remember quite well. Weeks of practice leading up to the event. I was part of a small ensemble performing for a school assembly. In practice, we were perfect. On pitch, perfect tempo. Then the big day came. We stepped forward onto the gymnasium floor to perform, and we botched it. Hard. Music is brutal. The memory of flawless performances fades quickly. It's your failures that are impossible to forget. Requiem is a swan song. Emily is the sour note. Emily is one of Umbrella's products, one of hundreds of Emily's mass-produced in a vast underground facility in Raccoon City. But Emily isn't a weapon. She is a key. The key to unlocking Elpis. Emily makes sense on paper. Grace is vulnerable. Emily is completely helpless. Blind. At the mercy of the rampaging biological weapons surrounding her. And her abduction provides the narrative backdrop for Grace's character development. The problem is, she's boring. The gameplay segment fleshing out her backstory brings the game's momentum to a complete halt. Heavily choreographed, the entire segment plays out step by step like a dance. No exploration, no interaction, just straight, unfiltered exposition. Emily is easy to empathize with on a superficial level, but she's never truly humanized. Her struggle for survival lacks weight. It's hollow, like a porcelain doll. Requiem in D minor, Mozart's final composition. A song for the dead. A fitting name for a franchise like Resident Evil, though maybe not for the reason you think. Resident Evil Requiem brings things full circle. Grace and Leon reunited at the place where everything started, Raccoon City. There's a real sense of finality to Requiem's ending, a logical conclusion to the series' overall narrative. A funeral. It sounds bleak, but a funeral can be a time of mourning, celebration, and reflection. Resident Evil was first unleashed when I was still a boy terrified of Band-Aids. Today, the franchise has grown into a horrifying behemoth, and I have grown alongside it. Requiem feels like a celebration of all things Resident Evil. Closure. But Requiem doesn't slam the casket lid shut on the franchise. No. Requiem leaves the door open. The chance for new life, for resurrection, hope. Starting to get a little dry. Let's I need a Mountain Dew break. Mountain Dew break.